In today's episode, we're going to show you how I use the Harken hoist system to lower and raise the tent onto the truck. The system is very easy to use. It took me about 2 hours, 3 hours to install. Okay, as you can see, I have a Tepui tent, and if you recall, I really want my camping to be done by one person. So everything I do, I'm looking at is if I can do it by myself. And one of the things that obviously I did not have a lot of room for in my garage was put a lot of extra equipment. So where was this tent going to go? So obviously I had put it on the ceiling. And this hoist system is actually made by a company called Harken, and they do a lot of marine accessories. But I think they also saw a need to be able to hoist things off and on a vehicle. And they now have storage hoist and kayak hoist and cover hoist. Okay, the first thing to do is just get the apparatus set up. So first thing I would like to do is go ahead, and I had pre-marked exactly how far the tire should go. So I actually have this piece of 2x4 that's dedicated, and it fits right here. And then on right here I have a black mark, and then I actually use this little icy container so I can see in the backup camera exactly where I need to line up. So here's a view of my backup camera, and you can see the blue mark that I try to line up with the little liquid icy, and right below that is that black mark that I'm trying to line. And like I said, this usually gets me within an inch or two of where I actually need to put down the tent. So now you can see the rear of the tire is right with the wood, and I showed you earlier how I'm aligned. Now the first thing I need to do is remove the green straps. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then the whole weight will be on the hoisting system. Now the hoisting system, like I said, can handle 200 pounds. However, just as an additional backup system, I like to use this the green straps to hold it across the 4 rafters. Okay, the first thing we need to do is go up and release the green straps. So this transfers the weight from the green straps to the Harken hoisting system. Okay. Now all the weight is now being held by the hoist system, and we'll go ahead and take the green straps off the other end and then lower it. Okay, so let's climb up the ladder here. Take these off. Make sure there's no string in the way of the hoist system. Everything looks good. And one of the things from the School of Hard Knocks I remember is making sure that your bolts and clamps that's for your rack here is not in the way. So everything looks good. I can just go ahead and lower it. So as you can see, it's slowly going down. Again, the nice thing, this thing weighs 200 pounds, and I'm doing this with one person. Obviously, it's easy when you go down, but after I put it down, I'll go ahead and raise it, and you can see how easy it is to raise. Oops, looks like I have a green strap in the way. Make sure I'll get that out. That out of the way. the other straps looks like they're not in the way. So we'll go ahead and continue this. All right. Okay, now we're on the rails. And so that was pretty easy to do. Now if I want to raise it, I'll just do the opposite here. I'll let me get in the camera view, and you can see it does take a little more effort. So just start lifting it. And just pulling it. Even though it's supposed to be the equivalent of 30 pounds, it seems a little more than that. So I just took a estimate on what the mechanical efficiency is of 80%. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. So we're just going to leave it here to let it float. And then I'll go ahead and explain some of the things on top on the installation. Okay, let's talk about the hoisting system. I installed this probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And the first disclaimer, I think people are going to see that there is a little displacement of the drywall on the ceiling part. And that was actually there before I installed it. So the house itself is probably 12, 13 years. So it's a little bit of the settling. And so I'm not too concerned about that. I keep an eye on it just in case, but so far I don't think there's been any additional movement in that crack. So again, it has nothing to do with the system I've put in. Now this is what's called a Harken hoist system. The one I got is rated for 200 pounds. The Tepui tent also weighs 200 pounds. And so it's essentially equal. Now, when I installed this, I was concerned about how well I'm going to be able to hit the dead center of the rafter. I think there are 2x10s, 2x12 rafters up in the attic. So if you do have access to your attic, it makes it a lot easier. I actually ran this 2x8 per the instructions that Harken has. You have 1, 2, and 3 that go into the rafters, and so the weight is distributed across 3 rafters. But my concern is how good in the middle did I get, and of course I always seem to like to have a backup system. I think most engineers like to have a backup system. So what I ended up doing, and it's not in the instructions, I put in these extra bolts. And these bolts, and I'll show you a picture of it, are connected to another piece of wood that crosses 2 rafters. So each of these cross 2 rafters. And I got 4 of them, and of course I double nut them so they'll never come undone. And then there's 2 over there. So the purpose of that is that the weight can also be put across 4 rafters instead of the 3. So the amount of force I have on these are a lot less. All right, so let's go ahead and set it down. So what comes with the kit? So obviously the kit comes with the rope. It comes with this pulley system over here, another pulley system, and then it goes spiders out to the 4 points, and then they have the pigtail screw that comes with it. So what I also ended up doing was, as I mentioned earlier, I've used these green ratchet straps to make sure that if this hoisting system ever fails, that I got another system to be able to catch on it. Because if you notice, I usually have 2 cars in here, and I would hate to have a 200-pound tent fall on the 2 cars. So I actually put these other set of screws in here, and this is where I actually attach the green ratchet straps. So I got a couple double backup systems. So I have a backup systems with the rafters, and then I got a backup system that actually holds the tent. Okay, the tent is fully back down on the bed rails, and I always use a pair of gloves to unlatch it, because sometimes this thing can be in tension and it can actually snap catch your fingers. So just a word of caution, School of Hard Knocks. This one seems to be in a little tension. I'm going to have to use 2 hands for that. Okay, now that I have them both on latch, I want to show you, I have a marker on here to show exactly where it needs to go. That was pretty close. On this one, I might be just slightly a little off. So zeroing it in and having it right underneath makes it real easy. In case you want to know, I actually, on the tent, there's a little side note, I actually drilled these eye bolts in here, and I actually use that with a chain to tie and lock. I hear stories about these rooftop tents being stolen. So okay, now that all the weight's off, I do have to raise the hoist just to get it out of the way. So it's obvious it's easy. Now, one thing I do notice when I put it back on, there's a minimum weight that is needed in order to get the pulley system going the other way when there's no weight. I think the manual probably says like 21 pounds. So what I usually have to do, and it takes a couple minutes, but I just release the little latch right here and pull on the string. I have to do that about 2 or 3 times before I can get it all the way down. So that's probably, I would say, the only thing that takes a little more effort. But again, this system is designed to be all done by one person. So overall, it's done very well, and I've been using this pulley system for about 1.5 years.
The next 60 seconds shows me unbolting the tent from the bed rails and raising it with the hoist system and securing it to the ceiling. In real time, it actually only took 15 minutes, so that's not too bad. So if you like the video, please hit like, and of course add comments to help me be a better blogger. And to help continue videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. This is Jim from Roughing It in Retirement, an engineer's perspective.